What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Eat, Sleep, Drive. And this one I wanted to talk about a service that I've recently used that you guys have probably heard of, and it's called Turo. If you haven't heard of Turo, I think Matt Farah has best described it as it's basically Air BnB for cars. So you can rent your car out, maybe it's an enthusiast car, maybe it's a regular car, to just anyone on the internet who has the app and passes whatever criteria. And yeah, so it's like an interesting service. And let me start by saying I'm not paid by Turo. They didn't ask me to do this. I was just very curious about the service because it was kind of appealing to me. So I just spent the weekend in Colorado and decided to give it a go. And obviously, I'm sure you can't help but notice this beautiful Porsche Cayman next to me. So this Porsche Cayman is not stock. It's got a turbo kit, and it makes supposedly 400 horsepower, and it has been an absolute blast. But I wanted to talk about my Turo experience to you guys. So let's start with the beginning. I was looking just online when I was going to visit Colorado, and was like, I really don't want to just rent like a Hyundai Elantra or something like that. I wanted to do something special for coming out here in the mountains. And so I went on Turo, started looking at cars in the area. There's a lot of Subarus, predictably, which is cool. But this caught my eye because it's way different, like a turbo base Cayman, which is kind of odd. So caught my eye. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. 150 bucks a day. I think that's pretty reasonable. Now, obviously, it's gonna vary by your, like whatever cars you choose on Turo. But this was 150 bucks a day, and I thought that seemed pretty reasonable. So I decided to go ahead and try and book this thing. So I tried to book it, set up my account, and I just kept getting this error message that said, you are not allowed to drive manual vehicles, which I thought was kind of funny. Obviously, they know nothing about me, but I've been driving manual vehicles for the last 14 years since I got my license. So, but there was no way to remedy that online. It wasn't obvious. There wasn't like, go here, do this. So I called Turo support. So I do have some experience with the support. Was on the phone for maybe 5 minutes, and they cleared it up pretty quickly for me. Said I had to go into my account and attest that I'm a master of the manual transmission. So you basically just go in there and click a checkbox and say that you're good. One thing I did notice that when I was like trying to figure out what was going on, there is a clause in there that says if the clutch goes out when you're using the car, you're pretty much on the hook for that, because it might be kind of hard to prove either way, like if you're a bad driver or whatnot. But there was definitely a clause in there that favored the owner of the car if anything goes wrong. So it's something to keep in mind. It was a little bit of a cause for concern for me, but I wasn't too worried about it. I don't go through clutches, fortunately, so I wasn't too worried about it. But anyways, I booked the car, and the seller had great communication. He actually has a bunch of different cars, which I thought was interesting on Turo, and this was just one of them. So basically, I came out here, was communicating with him. It cost me a little extra to have it at the airport, but it was really cool because I just arrived at the airport, went to the hotel valet right at the Denver airport, and the car was waiting for me there. So that was like a pretty cool special experience. I don't deal a lot with valets, and having something so convenient like that, it was pretty cool. The guy just handed you a key to a Porsche. So what do I think of this car? Well, I have a review of this online, so you could check that out. I don't want to go into too much depth, but it was like absolutely great for the money, 150 bucks. There was a small hiccup with the car. It started throwing a check engine light for a misfire. Called the owner. He was cool. Said that happens. It's a turbo, like 10-year-old Cayman, so that kind of thing could happen. He wasn't too concerned, so I was like, okay. But overall, I've had a great experience. I'm just about to go drop the car off. I will definitely be using Turo in the future, I think. It's definitely going to come down to one of those things where wherever I'm going, if I can find a vehicle that I think is a good value for what I'm getting. Because I will be honest, when I was looking, there was a Corvette on there, like a regular Corvette, that some guy wanted $900 a day to rent. And that's fair, man. Like, I would be super leery to rent my car and would probably want to charge a really large amount to try and like weed out some people. So just wanted to share my Turo experience with you guys. Once again, I'm not endorsed by them, not getting paid for this, but just kind of wanted to give you my consumer review of Turo. So check it out if you guys are interested. But appreciate you guys watching as always. And like I said, if you want to check out the video, I'll have a link at the end of this description for this car. And as always, I'll see you next time.